Yo, what's poppin' on, guys? It's your boy Offline Nuzlocke, and we are here for the preseason rankings for the Offline Discord League. Now, if you guys don't know what ODL is, it's my own Pokemon Draft League, and we are at season number 1, and this is only an invitational only league for season 1. It's just me and some of my close friends that will be following throughout the first season, and I'll let the subscribers and the general public in once we are at season 2. So make sure you guys are ready for this. I'm gonna get in call with Yoshi and Meta, and we're gonna get it started. So have fun, and yeah, let's get into looking for some teams. All right. So yeah, if anybody's new, this is a draft league that I started on a whim last Thursday, or I guess 2 Thursdays ago. Then on Saturday we started the draft because we are built different here, and yeah, we're gonna do PRs today. So welcome in.
Yippee.
And just so you guys know, this is like NFE, which is not fully evolved Pokemon, so you'll see things like Dracloak, Florigato, Reboot dominate the meta. Tinkatink is crazy. So is Mischievous for some reason, for Smogon at least, but we'll see who the underdog is for draft side of NFE. I think there's like one person on the YouTube sphere that does NFE besides like what we're doing, and their format allows things like Primeape and Basculin, so I'm just saying that's kind of Ubers.
The Ubers of the babies.
Yeah, the Ubers of the babies, exactly. But basically what we have is we're gonna restrict our S tier Pokemon to not be able to hold an Eviolite. So things like Sneasel, things like Fracture. I think we had Hisuian Sliggoo in there as well. And we're just not gonna let them hold Eviolite because they don't need it. And we're also restricting
for the people in the
per team. Yeah.
For the people who aren't fully aware of like what certain Pokemon items do, Eviolite is an item that not fully evolved Pokemon can hold, and it gives a 50% boost to both defensive stats.
And we're limiting to 2 per team just because we don't want Eviolite spam because that is boring.
Exactly. And I believe, Meta, are all of these Pokemon in order of tiers, or are they just in...
Yes.
Okay, all right.
They're all in tier order.
They're all tier orders.
Yeah. So these Pokemon have been ranked from S to D tier. The farther we go down the list, the lower in rank they are. And as Offline said, S tier Pokemon are not allowed to hold Eviolite. Each team only gets 1 S tier. So, for example, whose team are we starting with first?
Yours.
Looks like you're
first in line.
Sorry, it was a rhetorical statement, but I will...
Yeah, no, I got first in the draft order. Yay.
Do you understand how many times I constantly get 10th in like draft order? Like
that's
for the past 3
drafts?
No, it's not.
That's real, at least in my draft.
Well, because the thing is, if you're 12th out of 12, you get double picks back to back. But if you're like middle low ground, your picks get sniped on the front end and then can get sniped coming back up.
I have consistently gotten like 7th to 9th in draft order, so I don't want to hear it. It's like literally the worst position. Like, and I just have horrible teams. But
that's fair. But you're like good at the game.
The one. What? I'm good. There's no way you said that.
Yes,
like, no.
You're good. You
literally right there.
Anyway, before we waffle too much, I'm not gonna talk logistics too much about this team. I'll explain my thinking after you guys give your comments. But go ahead.
Yeah, but before that, just to give an idea, we required the amount of Pokemon that we're allowed to draft. That coaches were allowed to draft, and that was like they get 1 S tier, I think 2 A tiers, 3 B tiers, 2 C tiers, and they had an option between 2 D tiers or 1 D tier, and that was just because like nobody had a consistent answer in the poll for the D tiers. But everybody got 10 Pokemon, so they have 2 D tiers, so that's great. But yeah, the pool was limited, so snipes were going on left and right, so we'll take that into consideration. But we won't hesitate to roast your team into the ground, because that's how I like to do PRs. And starting with Yoshi's team, it's absolutely terrible for first place. Just gonna put it out there. You know, Hissey and Sneasel, who drafts that round 1, it's such a great Pokemon. But no, like realistically, that is probably one of the top picks that you could have had. I think like going into this draft, I was thinking like something like Haunter or Electabuzz would be really highly rated, but fast mons like Hisuian Sneasel and Sneasel itself, they're very good at what they do, and they don't really need an Eviolite, so I think that was a good first pick. But overall, the team looks pretty good. Obviously, you don't have a Steel type, but like it's NFE, so you can get past that, and you have a Waluigi with Terra Steel, so.
The Steel type that I requested was denied and shot out of the sky, but we won't talk about that.
Like it's, I mean, the board, like it was not on the board. Can't do anything about it.
Keep in mind, like the only like A tier steals were like Metang and Take It Tough, which were like the main ones overall we're going for. And those got sniped like first round, second round.
Yeah, that, and like we had an S tier in Hisuian Sliggoo, but it doesn't use Eviolite, so like you kind of had to think if that was worth a pickup. But like Hisuian Sliggoo is still a good type. So it's still, is it still on the board? I don't remember.
It is still on the board because literally no one made swaps like during the free period. So
which is something I guessed, but it is what it is. But like going back to your team, I think like you have a pretty consistent of like the offensive and defensive cores. I'm not gonna go too much into the schematics of how each team plays, because this is NFE. It's gonna be a little bit chaotic, and it's not like regular draft leagues where things will just play consistently. Like you can bring wacky sets and it will still work depending on how your opponent builds. So these PRs, like, take it with a grain of salt. Yoshi, I think your team is pretty consistent in the terms of like, hey, I have my defensive checks. If your team has some offensive threats, I can answer them pretty consistently. And you also have fun mons that try to do funny things like Charmeleon. I think like it went under the radar for the longest time. Like, sure, it's not the greatest on the board, but it can do respectable damage. And things like Dracloak and Fion together should not have been drafted together, but yeah, it's going to be a scary team for the coaches to play. So that's my overall thoughts on your team.
That first 3 is just threatening, man. Like Sneasel, very like probably one of the top speeds like in the tier, and then Dracloak, which is, I mean, you could say is top speed as well. Like and then Fion there, just like bulky pivot setup. Like that's just a nasty top 3.
Yeah, and Take Heart is not banned, so you can literally like set up screens or something and just go to town. So that is not out of the question either.
I gotcha. If we have your opinions and logistics out of the way, I can talk about how I thought about it. I'll be brief.
Go for it.
Let me say one thing. Just for those who don't know, for Terras, we're doing 1B, 1C, and 1D tier, and the Terra types must all be different from one another. And it's 1 stab and then 2 whatever else.
Yep, good call. But my thought process behind this team is the speed tiers for NFE are really weird. Like most NFE mons are below base 100 speed, with a couple of exceptions. Both Sneasels are the fastest Pokemon on the board. So it forces people to either be outsped or something has to run Scarf. Essentially. Unless they're one of the two teams that has consistent webs. Dragloak can't be stopped by webs because of Clear Body. It's a very good pivot mixed attacking mon. Fiona needed a bulky water to tank the ice type attacks that want to go into Dracloak. Also, like you said, Take Heart is busted. I almost said Clefable. My goodness. Clefairy, I feel like people underestimated as a fairy type. It gets access to a ton of coverage and a ton of support, which helps my sort of like frailer mons that don't get recovery deal with things better. Slow pivot with Baton Pass, I think, is valuable here. Vullaby is the cutest little bulky bird. Tanks, hits, defogs, roosts it off. One of the mons I'm actually most excited to use here is Florigato, because I think Protean is a fun ability to play around with, especially to deal like stab hits on different things. Charmeleon needed a fire type, gets Dragon Dance, hits pretty hard on the special side. Couldn't separate Vullaby and Rufflet. They're the duo. Gives me another ground immunity and another defogger. I'm a little surprised that Mudbray was in D tier, considering the stamina ability. Like, I know it's not an A tier mon, but like with Eviolite, it's kind of a menace. But I'm not complaining. And then Flaffy was a last minute electric type grab just to give me a flying resist. But that's all I gotta say.
Yeah, I think you did like pretty good in terms of drafting, and your Terra captains are a mix of both defense and offense. Like Mudbray, if it gets stamina boost, I mean, it's pretty bulky to begin with. Walubi, we just don't talk about it because it's a menace. And Charmeleon, like you don't sleep on Charmeleon with the Terra Fire. Like it might start doing damage compared to like some of the other fire types on the board. So I think it's a pretty consistent Terra Pokemon, and like from how you like to draft like bulky offense, like this team definitely suits that. So there's some sleepers, there's some offense that you don't wanna take lightly, but overall I think it's a pretty good team.
Thank you.
I think I think it's a really good team as well. I think like the only things that maybe go on this team would be like potentially Spiker, just to help support Sneasel and Charmeleon offensively a bit better, but obviously Spikers are limited in this team tier. And then that's like mainly it. I like Mudbray, Clefairy. I think they're fine rockers. I think Mudbray we should have put at C tier, honestly, because yeah, that thing just flew under the radar. And then Clefairy, just good mon. I do think this team, like, yes, there's Vullaby. I could say it's Psychic Weak, but I mean, I think Vullaby should take care of any of the Psychics in this format if there like is any important ones. Oh, like Duosion and stuff. Like Vullaby should take care of that. So.
Right.
Yeah, and I mean, like, you also have that Protean Florigato too, right? So, like, you can always just throw off a taunt or, you know, Home Claws or something and just become a dark type. So, it's like, I see the Psychic Weak part of it, but, like, it's not like you're going to be affected by Psy Spam too much.
Right.
I feel like my team is actually more afraid of flying spam, honestly.
I was thinking that too as well.
Because
I was like,
honestly,
what?
because Flaffy is such a weird Pokemon. Like it. I wish I could have made it a Terra Captain, but honestly, Mudbray was just such a better option. Because without Terra, if the opposing team has a ground type, Flaffy can't really do much. And even then, it's not the bulkiest thing in the world, and to resist a flying type, I'm forced to Terra Steel with Vullaby or Terra Electric with Charmeleon.
Yeah, Flaffy's like that Pokemon that will like ask for your Eviolite for whatever week you're bringing it, so that is definitely there.
I gotcha. Are we gonna go through all the teams and then rank them, or are we ranking them immediately after we talk about them?
Let's do rankings at the end, so I can just grab your screen record to like for the tier list.
I gotcha. Okay. So moving on to
start with, I think this will probably be rated pretty high.
Yes, I think so too.
This is
so yeah, the next team is Sleepy's team. We got mons like Dipplin, Munchlax, Wartortle, Torcat, Growlithe. I'm not gonna read all of them, but this is a team of someone who is doing draft for the first time ever, and I don't think we can say like he's playing draft for the first time because he has some scary threats.
Definitely does.
Like Munchlax and Dipplin together, and provided support from like things like Wartortle and Torracat, even like Tentacool. This team is kind of scary.
It is very scary because Thick Fat from Munchlax helps save Dipplin a lot here.
Yeah, and like Torracat does not care about any ice type moves. Like
pretty much.
I mean, just look at those top four, including Torracat with Intimidate, and it's just fat. Like it's just pure fat.
It's a very very thick team. And Terra Lampent, those Shadow Balls are going to hit hard.
Exactly. And I think, okay, so for this team specifically, like, speed tiers are kind of broken too. Like, you have two 95s and then you jump to a 90. In NFE, that's not that bad. Like, you don't have that many Pokemon going above, like, 100. So the speed tiers of this team are kind of cracked.
And you keep in mind that Unburdened Grovyle can just outspeed pretty much everything.
And of course we have Shell Smash Wartortle, which I pray they bring at least once this season.
Man, I still think it's a fraud, I ain't gonna lie. But it's definitely good. I don't think it's as busted, but I think it's good.
It's not busted, but you underestimating Wartortle will get your team slaughtered because with water ice coverage, Wartortle can take out quite a big chunk of the board. I forget what other coverage it gets, though. I think
it has like decent fighting coverage in Aurasphere, I think. But Wartortle, I think it's a good breaker with Shell Smash or cleaner, whatever it is. But I think this team provides that support. One thing that I would have liked on this team would be like consistent screens, because once you have screens, this team goes insane with the setup. Like you have that bulky Pokemon that you can set up really easily under screen.
Right. Does anything on this team actually get screens?
I don't know. Maybe Lampent, but I have to
let me open.
I think Lampent could make sense.
On Battle Simulator real quick, and let me actually check.
Lampent doesn't get any screens, so
actually.
Honestly, though, screens might not even matter too much here. Just because
you're right.
of the fact you have you have double intimidate, right? Shogun, like Terra Shogun. I don't know how that ended up so late. Like,
Yeah.
honestly, I would have drafted it, but you know, I'm not going to get into my team, but you'll see there. Honestly, looking at the team, I think the biggest thing for me is there's like no hazards. You have Diglett as your ground as well.
Yeah. But I mean, like, I get it. NFE, like, sure, you can run a meta where you set up hazards and just break. But, like, looking at a team like this, honestly, like, if you don't get up hazards and consistently just, you know, try and set up and break, I think it's not that big of a deal because you still hit hard with some of these mons. Like, I mean, like, Reckless, Staravia, like War Turtle, and then you have things like Diplin and Munchlax that will like chip things down slowly. So hazards are nice for sure. But
it isn't completely necessary with this team.
Yeah, if you take like more of an offensive approach in terms of like how you play this team, it might not need those hazards. But yeah,
that's fair. And I mean, you can always just run like Sash, Diglett, Lead, get up rocks, and then I mean, this is kind of like a bulky like hit offense is how I'm kind of seeing it. With like War Turtle and Cat just pivoting around into stuff like Shogun and Staravia. So I think like Hazard, like at least like a little bit better of a rocker would be nice, but obviously there's like barely anything on the board, so it's fine, right?
Also, Tentacool is actually a pretty solid Toxic Spikes user, especially since there are very few steel types on the board and just as few like decent poison types. Toxic Spikes actually does a pretty solid job for this team.
Yeah, that's true as well.
I ain't gonna lie, I'm not a big fan of Terra on Tentacool. I think it's fun without Terra. But
I agree.
Nothing really left to Terra with.
I mean, Terra Diglett kind of sounds fire though, bro.
Yeah, like Terra Diglett, like just click Choice Band, Terra Ground, Earthquake, like could be good. Gives you kind of like that faster Terra Captain.
Yeah, right. I think one thing that I'm kind of hesitant on this team is like you have too many Terra options. Like things like Staravia and Growlithe kind of ask for Terra, and like you can't give it to them because you have Shogun and Lampent. Like it's a hard choice because like do you want Terra normal Reckless Staravia or do you want Dragon Dancing Shogun? It's a hard choice, and same with Growlithe. I think the decision between Lampent and Growlithe is pretty hard, but I think in this case like Growlithe should have been a Terra because that mon excels a lot more if it has access to that Terra. So maybe that's a switch we see in the future, but I think like still Terra like Lampent with Shadow Ball spam, pretty good.
Also, at first I was like, what is Terra Stellar doing on Lampent? But like now, the more I like sit on it, like it kind of works. Just because Lampent gets just like so much coverage, or at least enough coverage, right, to take advantage of it.
Because honestly, since we're limiting mons to like 2 Eviolites per team, and certain mons not being able to use Eviolite, sometimes clicking one move once is all you need to kill a Pokemon.
True.
And like that and Lampent's typing actually isn't terrible in NFE because there's a lot of pretty decent fire type starters running around, and there's a few. Well, I wouldn't say there's a whole lot of really good normal types. The only really good normal type I'd say is Munchlax, but still.
Which is on this team.
Which is on this team. It drafted I almost said crap. Luna definitely drafted, I think, one of the best Lampent counters, being Munchlax, which was very smart on their part.
Probably the best Lampent counter on the board.
Probably. It is the Lampent counter because it's immune to Shadow Ball and it takes half damage from fire moves. So yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, Sleepy being the first time Draft League player does not show that his team is a first time Draft League player's team, which is very surprising. It's good.
I gotcha.
Another thing is, like, since there's only 2 Eviolites on the team, like, there's a lot of Pokemon on this team that doesn't even, like, need a whole Eviolite, so you can just save it for, like, stuff like, you know, Lampent if you need. Like, Munchlax doesn't need to run Eviolite a lot of the time, you know, between this Torcat and potentially Intimidate Staravia Core, like, you can save, like, some Eviolites. Grovyle probably just wants to run, like, Unburdened a lot of the time, so if you don't want Eviolite, like, Wartortle can probably doesn't even need Eviolite. You can run Herb for Smash or Choice or Boots even. So really like how there's just a lot of mons that don't need to hold Eviolite.
I will say though, I do disagree on the Munchlax angle. Munchlax really likes to have Eviolite because it's too slow to like be a quote-unquote setup sweeper, and having that Eviolite gives it longevity with like rest and stuff. Otherwise it just gets completely cooked on the physical side.
I think
unless you run like Chopple to stop that fighting.
But then that's also saying like that's also why I'm saying like between Torcat, like Intimidate, Pivot into Munchlax, right? Helps with that physical offense, like weakness. And also like with this board, like Eviolite isn't needed on Munchlax as much as like regular Audax or whatever.
So like it depends on the team. Like some weeks Munchlax might need that Eviolite, but some it might get away without needing an Eviolite, which makes perfect sense. It's NFE. Like we are gonna see teams like that for sure. So let's move on to the next team, which is Prep's team.
Correct. Alright, I have some words about this team. Also...
yeah, go ahead. You start.
Why is Toedscool shiny completely white?
We don't talk about
it. Hold on, no, I have to talk about it because I've never seen shiny Toedscool before. Why does he look like that?
No, Toedscool's kind of...
just looks like Patrick. I don't know.
Just like dehydrated Patrick.
No, but... Yeah, go ahead. You start off.
This team scares me for a variety of reasons. Magneton is a demon for reasons that I don't think I need to explain.
All you have to say is analytic.
Analytic and funny special attack number. If you don't have a ground type, you're not killing Magneton.
Yeah. Also, like, I'm just gonna pause you there. Prep drafted Bailey, and I was like, I kind of spoiled it to the draft because with Magneton and Terra Bailey, this team is going to go insane. Just write it down. If you're facing Crap, these two duos are gonna like probably cause some damage. Because Magneton weak to ground, so you're gonna bring your ground type, and Bailiff is just gonna set up on it. So don't let that happen. I warned you. Just saying.
Miss Magius was such a smart A tier grab because it's immune to the of course it's immune to ground type moves. And it's immune to the fighting moves that will also hit it for super effective damage. And then
you just click Will-O-Wisp on them, honestly.
I was about to say, yeah, you just click Will-O-Wisp on like the physical attackers that want to hit Magneton with super effective damage. And then if it's like, oh no, there's a fire type attack going into Magneton, bro has 2 dragons.
And technically, like Seadra
Terra Seadra too.
can be a dragon, but without, still resist. Yeah, I don't even
the
need
funny dragon
to know this is S tier. Like, this is easy S.
Yeah, it's a very well crafted team.
So if you guys know anything about Crep, she has a lot of mons that she calls friendos, but in reality they're just demons. Like they will cause you generational trauma. And
I feel like facing Crep will cause you generational trauma no matter what.
Well, that's the added insurance onto that. But so this team reflects some of her past like Paldea Dex teams, like low tier teams, but unevolved. So some of the mons are actually on her low tier team that we allowed. Crazy. And some of the mons are just, not evolved fully. So like looking at it from that perspective, like she basically knows her team already. So she's gonna be comfortable like building for it and playing them every single week. Now, if we take that, like if we disregard that whole situation, this team still is crazy in the sense of, hey, if I choose any 6 mons any week, they're still gonna be cohesive because they counteract their weaknesses and their strengths very easily, and I can pivot or double out however I want to, which is kind of unique in terms of like, hey, NFE we have been so far seeing like, hey, I have bulky offense versus like I'm just gonna set up and try to sweep you. This team has just too many options. It has webs, it has that crazy attackers, and it still has those bulky guys that will refuse to die. So yeah,
I'm excited to see. Sorry to interrupt, Meta. You go ahead.
That wasn't me. That was off.
Oh, sorry. Listen.
Go ahead. No.
Seadra does get focus energy. We are absolutely going to see a focus energy sniper set coming out of Seadra at some point.
Yeah.
I'm gonna tell you this: Seadra was gonna be my B tier Terra, or might not have been my Terra. I was considering it Terra, but I was gonna snag that for B. Like that thing is just too good.
It's a very good B tier Pokemon.
It's literally her bulky water. Like that thing can be bulky if she wants it to be.
True. Well, anything on this team can be what Crep desires. Because for Crep turns into Thanos when she starts playing Pokemon. So I feel like it's
on this team is just crazy. Like
right.
You have the webs, you have the spikes and Stealth Rock from not Stealth Rock. You got the spikes from Toe School and its spin. You have Defog from Hoot Hoot.
Does Toad
Bailey
spikes?
Yes. Pretty sure it does.
It should, yeah.
It does. It gets spikes and it gets toxic spikes and it also gets spore. So
Yep.
This is going to be a very annoying team to face.
That big of a deal. But I mean, this team, like having like a 95-ish could be cool, but it's not really needed.
Right. It's also NFE, so
it's also that too.
I was about to say, for you to have bad speed tiers in NFE, you would have to drafted like all 10 mons that are below base 50 or something. And even
but like
you could find a way to work with it.
Like this team has webs. Does speed tier even matter? Like you have a reliable, actually an excellent web setter in this meta, with Chargebug. Like I don't think she has to worry about speed at all.
Not even, because she also has probably the best spin blocker in the on the board, right?
Yeah. Yep.
Like Mischievous. Why do we make that A again?
Because we wanted to have it access to Eviolite. We wanted a demon in A tier. That's why we let Mischievous have Eviolite.
And why didn't we let his sweet and Slagoo into A tier?
That's too broken. I knew you would have taken it around.
That's not too broken. Okay, well, we'll save that for later. But
No, like I'm trying to actively think of things wrong with this team, and it's just so hard, right? Like you have pretty much everything you want. I would say like Magneton is a really good fairy check, but like look at the rest of the team, right?
Yeah.
So that's just maybe something to consider because
that's a good point.
Magneton really wants to like bolt around. It wants to like you can run bulkier variants, but I think the way Crep's been talking about it, like they just want to run offensive Magneton, which is fine. But like outside of like Terrafire Bayleaf, and since Grimer, that's a Alolan Grimer as well, so it's neutral to Fairy. Fairy just kind of hits everything else.
I was about to say, yeah, Fairy does kind of pressure this team quite a bit.
Oh, I guess Terra Poison Hoo is also there, but like...
Right.
Yeah, but like, you really want to bring your Fairy against the Magneton? That could one-shot it.
I was about to say, that's not going to stop me from bringing Clefairy into this team.
Yeah, sure. But, that's true. But
one of my concerns is I've never been a big fan of stacking a bunch of quad weaknesses on a team, but this team has 3 quad weaknesses. And none of them can Terra out of it. So this will be interesting. I'm completely confident that Crep will be able to play around it.
Yeah. Well, I think like most of them are fine, right? The ground weakness Magneton has, I mean, if Magneton's up against the ground, it clicks like Steel Beam. Or you just go like Mischievous or Bayleaf, and then Toedscool with the ice weakness, like you just go Magneton. You go actually ice kinda is pretty good here, but like you go
okay,
if they're not freeze dry.
Let's think about this. If it's ice, right? It's probably a special attacker. You literally have the Mischievous if you have Eviolite on it, or you can even go Charjabug. Like that thing is taking nothing from an ice type.
Yeah.
Do you know what Pokemon get freeze dry in the NFE tier?
I don't even know if we have a Pokemon on our board that gets freeze dry.
There is no Pokemon on the board that gets freeze dry that can use it.
Probably
or that
not.
would even want to use it, because Artibax gets it, but why the frick are you using freeze dry on Artibax? Piloswine is not drafted.
Piloswine.
Piloswine is not
drafted.
Vulpix,
that bond would be
Vulpix Alola is very banned, so so yeah.
No, some of the bonds, the S tiers that weren't drafted are crazy. Piloswine being on the board in a format where there's like barely any good grounds is crazy to me.
Yeah.
Also, like, sure, you don't have access to Eviolite Piloswine, but that mon is thick for this meta to begin with. And it has a ridiculous attack stat, which you can leverage. You just hit harder. So,
true, but isn't that mon an S?
Yeah.
Yep. Gotcha. But
I mean, like, some of the S tiers are surprising to that they're not drafted, but hey, maybe we see some action in Grace too.
We'll have to see, because I think Grace is the next Grace period is week 3.
Yeah, at the end of week 3. Yeah, we'll have it there.
Well, do you have any more comments on this team?
I think
this probably best team we've seen so far, in my opinion.
That's fair.
I'm gonna say that for every single team.
I feel like Crep, from the draft leagues I've been in with them, they draft very well.
Yeah.
I have yet to see them get like really sniped much in draft, but like if they're given what they want, it's a hellhole for everyone involved.
I'm just gonna say they're not friendos. They are generational trauma causers. Okay.
Truly, that mischievous is going to cause somebody to cry and start hating on Miss Magius next time they play a different draft.
Yeah. No, she had Terra Mischievous on our low tier, and I think that thing caused way too much trauma to some people.
I can believe that because Terra Mischievous wreaks havoc on the ladder a lot. So
yeah, and we still gave it access to Eviolite because I thought that was fun. So we'll see what happens. Don't blame me, guys. Okay. It was on the board. You could have picked it round 1. Anyways.
Why would? Okay, we're not gonna talk about that. Moving on. Speaking of late round Adorians. 1 pick.
Oh yeah, no. Actually, we can skip this team. We don't need to.
Yeah, why? What's wrong? We can't. You don't want to talk about this team?
It's Adorian's team, obviously.
Like, it is Adorian's team. Now, before we start deep diving in this team, Adorian specifically sent me a paragraph on why they made their picks.
Nah, we're gonna skip it. You think we want to read that out in a PR?
Well, I'm going to read it because
no, I'm gonna cut it out. Trust.
Let me tell you why they pick what they pick. All right, Haunter.
Yeah.
Ghost spam is too good in this tier. Like outside of like Munchlax and those first, right? And then you just hit them with Sludge Wave. Right.
Funnily enough, that was not in their reasoning for picking Haunter, but true. You're right.
It gets Levitate. I like Levitate Pokemon.
Yeah, decent spin blocker and ground immunity.
Genuinely forgot I got Levitate until I saw their match. I'm gonna be honest.
Bro, for gore.
Yeah. No, honestly, like overall, just looking at this team, I mean, like it's pretty versatile. Morgrem on this team, like, kind of feels weird because I don't look at like Adorian playing Morgrem. Adorian likes to play stall, if you guys don't know, and this is like not a stall team because I said if anybody drafts stall, they're getting kicked. That was not a joke. So this is like not stall at all. I mean, you could try to make it stally, but I think this is more of a setup spam and just do damage type of team. I would take over this team and have so much fun. Like this is like hot shots that I would definitely.
You would bring like choice specs on every Pokemon on this team, even though they're physical attackers.
I don't know what you're talking
about. Yeah.
No, bring SD choice specs, Rabu.
SD choice spec, yes. And then I just fling.
That is exactly something you would do.
Yeah, but I mean, like, this is the only magic bouncer that we have in the draft, so pretty good there. And Healing Wish. I don't know how many mons get Healing Wish. I think Curlia does.
That's a good question. But... Let me check good old Pokemon Showdown.
I know that over there.
There are 4 Pokemon that get Healing Wish. It's Hatchram, Clefairy, Hatena, and Petilil.
Okay, so we have 2 on the board, and this is 1. And now let's look at this team and Healing Wish. Like, I think the Terra Captains love Healing Wish. And under screens, these Terra Captains go insane. So,
they do.
And webs. Forgot about webs. So, like, this is definitely a scary team if it's run properly. And knowing Adorian, I think he will figure out a way to do it exactly like that. So,
like, Specs Haunter is already a menace to deal with, and then imagine dealing with 2. It's like,
yeah,
truly. I'm excited to see Meteor Beam Glimmet up in here.
Yeah, if I don't see an offensive Glimmet run, Adorian's getting kicked. So, yeah.
There's a lot of hidden rules in this draft.
Yeah, exactly.
And they all seem to target Adorian.
I don't know what you're saying. I don't know. Definitely not. But
no,
Rebel, have a good evening.
I'm really glad they grab that Duat because like
Yeah.
without it, Glimmet is there, sure, but look at like fire against this team, right? Like Raboot like has Libero as well. But
Yeah.
like just look at Fire Spam, right? You have
pretty
Fire
easy.
Dirt Trace.
Yeah.
So that Duat really helps them a lot. And I think like it's probably one of the better D tiers that we had.
Yeah. So I kind of wanted to draft Duat, and Adorian kept like saying it was terrible, so I just left it in D tier. I didn't end up playing, and he ended up drafting it, which is kind of ironic.
This man drafted every Mon that he hated on.
Oh, 100%.
This was completely
Duat,
planned, by the way.
Swadloon. Yeah, I think Adorian was just big braining when we were tiering this.
Truly. I shouldn't have said anything about Hisui and Sulu because you were like, oh, put an S immediately.
No, I think tiering was pretty okay. Some demonic Pokemon might have gotten out of hand with some of the tiering, but I think we did okay. Starting from like a new board and everything. So
right.
This team though, I think it has a lot of potential, but you have to be very careful with teams like this because like sure you have some bulk, but some of the NFE threats can run them over pretty quick if you're not careful. Obviously, you have the screens from Morgrim, which help, and Healing Wish or something like that from Headroom also helps, but it is a little bit more hyper-offensive, so you have to be a little bit careful while running.
Honestly, with a couple of exceptions, this team is kind of frail.
Yep.
Yeah, the defensive core on this team is like Duat.
Duat and throw Eviolite on Swadloon, and there's your ground resist.
I definitely think like this team should not think about defense. Like if you want to play this team, like your bulkiest guy is probably Swadloon. Others should just attack. I think they would do well. And like sure you can rely on Morgan for screens, but if you play pivot setup, I think this team would excel best at it.
I think what happened is Adorian drafted Hatchram. You said if you draft Stall, I ban you. He cried and then panicked and drafted Hyper Offense.
I don't want to be banned. No, but I think like this is a different team compared to the three that we have seen so far. So this kind of gives us the idea of, hey, each coach is going to play a little bit differently. It will be exciting to see how the teams come out.
Right. Also, another Protean user. Respect.
Yeah.
I think, in my opinion, probably the weakest part of this team is you look at Glimmet, Diglett, and Swadloon, right? They all relatively do the same thing, right? They're frail, they set up a hazard, they die, right? Maybe Adorian does something different with them, and I'd be surprised, but like, seeing all three of them just have that same role, like, and also, like Hippopotas is still on the board, man. Like, grab that over Swadloon, in my opinion.
Yeah, you don't really need webs on this team. Like,
right.
Yeah, I can see that. Like, Swadloon is kind of like an epic for sure, but I mean, like,
I get it.
I'm not gonna spoil anything, but week 1 use of Swadloon, I'm like, okay, if you use Swadloon like that, I have no reasoning to hate on that Swadloon.
Yeah, I agree.
I was about to say NFE definitely forces people to be more creative because some like NFE Little Cup Pokemon, like in regular draft, they're typically just used as like a cheap 1 or 2 point grab to set hazards and die.
Yeah.
But like Glimmet has 105 special attack.
That thing's gonna be a nuke and then die.
I was about to say, I mean, there's some underrated like sweepers here, and honestly, having webs out to help limit sweep is actually a funny concept.
Yeah.
Because you just click Meteor Beam, and then it starts Dazzling Gleam, Power Gemming, and Sludge Waving your team if you have no resist. Which is pretty solid, considering there's like 2 steel types.
Or you can rock polish. I mean, you don't have to set up webs.
Well,
like,
right.
let's say you grab Hippopotas because you don't care about swap them. Like, you still have like speed boosting options on this team. And it's not even that slow compared to the other teams that we have seen so far. So it's in the middle. But
it's funny that like Adorian draft stall, and he said like, if you draft stall, like I'll ban you, and he picks like, he probably has one of the most like offensive / hyper offensive teams, at least that we've seen so far.
Like, this is the team I would draft and play because it is literally my style. Like, I can't play defense. Like, it has to be something like this.
You play aggressive is how you play.
100%. And that's how I lose, so don't play like that.
Lose to who?
What? Okay, I wasn't even trying. Yes, I lose to Meta because Meta builds bulky guy. And I would probably lose to you too, Yoshi. Like,
you've bumped me before. You know fully how to prepare against a bulky offense.
I have no clue what you're saying.
Yeah, all right. How do we feel about the Terras on these guys?
I think the Terras are perfect looking at this team. Like Dartrix definitely needed that Terra. Luxio, I think I convinced Adorian on picking up Luxio after the hidden strats. And Duat, I think that Terra is good too. Like, you don't want the Diglett to Terra, obviously, and Duat being in D tier, I think that was like the best Terra pickup just available there. So I rate it.
He rates it.
And then you look at some of these Terra types and some of the like offensive type spam like that he has. Like, I'm glad he picked Terra Flying over Terra Grass on Dartrix, because Flying is a pretty strong offensive type in this tier. Haunter is a very strong, offensive ghost in this tier. Even like Luxio with Ice Fang, Terra Ice, I was like a bit skeptical on, because I feel like people who pick up Terra Ice for electric types, like, I feel like sometimes that's a trap. But for Luxio, it just works well, and Ice Fang feels pretty good. So
yeah, you can even rock Terra Blessed Ice, and that's blowing things backwards. And Bolt Beam coverage is fine, like on things like Luxio, because hey, they might not expect it, because like Terra normal facade, it just goes in if you're not prepared for it. And with like barely any steel types, like, you have to prep for a lot on this team, which is interesting.
Right, and with the ghost types that are available, a lot of them are pretty frail. So if you misjudge what move they're going for, your ghost type could just get blown away, and then your team is facadeable.
Alright, let's move on to the next one. We got Meta's
team. The best team. Yeah, all right. I'll let y'all speak about it though.
Let's analyze, because I actually haven't looked at Meta's team extremely closely.
This team is what I would call Get Sniped Nerd. Like,
sniped nerd is crazy.
No, like, overall, I don't know, like, this team, when I first take a look at it, I'm like, it's just a bunch of hooligans, right? But then you started looking more into it. You see the top 4, and then you add things like Dupiter, Coughing, even Pawniard into the mix.
I'm still mad that you sniped my Pawniard.
You're welcome.
Personal beefs coming into PRs, that's not usual at all.
Listen, I'm not actually mad at him. Just...
No, but like, that is like one of the 3 steel types available. I get it. But... No, I think this team, cooks as well. Like, I don't think any teams that we have so far doesn't cook. Like, I can't say like, hey, this team is bad, but
Yeah, I feel like it'd be really hard pressed to cook. Terra Grottle is about to be a mistake, and I am scared.
that's why I let it in. Like, okay, how can it be a league possible if there isn't any chaos? Like, we have too many of those, so we need at least some kind of chaos to make it interesting.
I truly
Terra
think
Grotto
you made
was
this
one of
board to spite me.
What? That's
I'm-
crazy.
I'm messing with you, but you are absolutely correct. Electabuzz, Krokorok, Carkol can be very annoying, especially with as bulky as it is with Rapid Spin and access to hazards. Terra Grotto with Shell Smash, Sniper.
No, Shell Smash is banned. It can Terra.
That's right. I forgot.
Yeah.
Shell Smash.
No, I think we didn't want that Grottle to be like 2 times faster, so to not get like 40 speed or something like that.
40 speed.
It's already slow. So
That's right. I remember the rule. We let War Turtle Shell Smash, but it can't Terra. But we let Grottle Terra, but it can't Shell Smash.
Yeah.
It's crazy because I was a big advocate on keeping Shell Smash away from Grottle, and then I picked up Grottle.
I love how like we had people who were just trying to, get like Pokemons in lower tiers so they can pick it up. Adorian. And then we had Meta, who was like, too broke. Let's move it up.
Too broken. Nerf.
Oh wait, I was gonna pick that up.
No, but the difference is with me, I'm actively nerfing myself. Adorian was actually helping me out.
Yeah, like you have to nerf yourself because the league can't handle it.
Obviously.
Definitely.
He is the meta after all.
Exactly. The meta grows. Wow. But honestly, okay, let's talk about the team for real. So you have an insanely viable, versatile Pokemon in Electabuzz. That thing can pivot around for days, and it can fill like multiple roles, and it has an insane speed here. So you're starting off strong, which was your last pick. But like looking at your team in order, like that's a strong pick to start off with. And pairing that with things like Krokorok, Grotto, even Dewpider that some people might be sleeping on, like it's there. You just have to execute it properly. And I don't think I can't even bat an eye that you won't be able to do it because you have done it before. And I won't be surprised if you just do it again easily. So, honestly, overall, I think it's a pretty good team. I don't know about the Vibrava, not gonna lie. Vibrava seems out of place. You have Trapinch right there, which I think is way better, but that's just me.
I was about to say you have no shortages of resistance to ground, so but that's fair. There's limited D tiers that are actually good. I'm also gonna be for real with you. I love this team a lot, but I'm a big Curlia hater. Mostly because it's just bad. But
okay,
I believe in you, Meta. I know you'll cook with it.
I think Curlia is that funny mon that Meta is trying to not disclose too much. Like, sure, Curlia is frail and slow, but if it does the right things at the right moment, it can do something. And also, you don't have to bring it to every game. So, there's that.
I was about to say the sleeper pick that he's keeping under wraps is Dupiter.
Oh, right.
It's sitting there with Terra Water. Like, it's not going to click Terra Water water bubble liquidation on something and blow it up.
No, it's going to be Specs, Terra Water, Hydro Pump. I'm just telling you right now.
That's the other option.
Yeah. I mean, in terms of, like, picks, I think, like, you pivoted well after you got sniped. Drizzle is kind of like, hey, people are hating on it because it has no coverage, but like still it is pretty good with just water spam and pivoting. So I don't hate it.
Yeah, because unfortunately all it gets is water moves and butt shot, but it can definitely put in some work. It can also honestly be used as a physical attacker because it gets Fell Stinger, and I've seen some people use some weird sets with Inteleon with Fell Stinger.
Oh my god. Okay.
Yep.
Meta, sorry if I ruin this, but you can use Drizzle as a screen setter.
Holy cow.
Like,
all right, I'm gonna run through my team because I think a lot of people looking at my team were like, what are some of these picks? And Offline's right, I got sniped heavy, but to also let everyone know, I picked up Dupiter round 1. I was the only person that picked up anything lower than like an A tier round 1. So I picked up Dupiter. Dupiter's strong. You don't know. You can't expect only physical because it has even physical and special attack, right? And I do have that webs mode if I want. Main thoughts are like, I'm scared of Eviolites. So look at those first 2 mobs. I picked up like 2 of the best knockoffers like in the league. Electabuzz gives me speed and pivot, and Electric Spammer felt pretty good with the lack of grounds. Really liked Rock as a ground and a dark. Intimidate Moxie, just really good. Carkle was kind of like, I need a spinner or some removal, so let's just pick up that. And then between Electabuzz and Carkle, I was like, I don't want to be too ground weak, so I picked up like 3 ground resistances and immunities between Coughing, Vibra, and Grottle. Grottle, I think, is still good without Shell Smash. I get Curse, I get Swords Dance, right? I can just run bulky VC. In fact, I'm just going to spoil like a lot of my visions here, just for y'all. Drizzle, I wasn't going to pick up Drizzle. I was thinking of picking up Seagra, Brion, and Prinfluff, I believe. But Drizzle might be one of the best screen setters in the format. Call it Glaze, but like, it's fast. I get U-turn, right? I also need like the speed tier because as you see, like outside of Electabuzz, Crocrock's like my next speed tier. And like I didn't want to entirely rely on webs. And then like y'all said, like main thing is like Drizzle, speed, whatever. Coughing, yeah, felt like a lot of roll compression there. I might not even need Levitate a lot of the time because of the lack of grounds, so I can just run neutralizing gas and be a grounded poison. Dupiter, y'all don't know. Y'all don't know about Dupiter, man. That's it.
You don't even have to speak about Dupiter.
I was about to say, you have been bragging about Dupiter for the entirety of the draft.
All I'm saying is I picked up round 1, right? That's all I'm saying. And then Pawnyard's there. I wanted to grab like a steal, and that looked like pretty okay as a steal. Curlia, a lot of people were talking about my Curlia pick low key, right? And yes, Curlia is bad, but I picked up for like one reason, and I'm gonna tell y'all right now. Trick Room, right? Genuinely, Trick Room is what I picked it up for. That's pretty much it. Like, I mean, yes, it gets some nice support options. I can teleport as well. I have, T-Wave, Willow, whatever, right? Destiny Bond. So it gave like some support there. And then Vibrava, honestly, one of the only like okay D tiers to Terra. And when you look at like the board, Dragon, Ground, it's just really spammable. That's why I just kept those Terras there. So yeah, that's pretty much it.
Yeah, it's crazy that I predicted that Screens Drizzle.
It's crazy that I predicted Screens Drizzle.
It's not that hard because it's one of the things Drizzle only does.
No, I didn't even know what that mod did. I was just looking through the moves. I'm like, damn, it has screens. And you run haze to stop the setup. Crazy. No, I think this team has potential, but you're gonna have to work hard to get the execution sometimes.
Oh yeah.
Compared to the other team on the draft. But honestly, I'm excited. I think it will be good.
I have some visions here, but I definitely got sniped like a ton. But I think I made it work as well with having the quote unquote handicap of picking Dewpider round 1, which by the way, I did it because people were hating.
You can't say handicap and Dewpider in the same sentence after what you did. Like you just can't do that. You just have to prove it that Dewpider is Dewpider in this league.
Nah, I'm telling you, Dewpider's gonna be the kill leader. That's not what I'm gonna say.
Dewpider's gonna be the kill leader. You heard it here first.
Yeah. I'll release the stats after the season's done. I better see it on the top.
If Dewpider is not kill leader, ban Meta from the server.
No, I'm down with that. Also, any role that you can think of that I might need for my team, Dewpider covers. Oh, I need a Spacewalker, Dewpider. Oh, I need webs, Dewpider. Oh, Electabuzz sucks. I need Dewpider.
Electabuzz.
What do you mean Electabuzz sucks?
That was such a personal attack to Electabuzz that was not deserved.
Yeah, leave my boy alone. Like that is the only thing you have going, besides the Dewpider. Come on now.
I was about to say if you're gonna attack any Pokemon on your team, it definitely does not need to be Electabuzz.
Exactly. That's the only thing that's holding up your speed tiers besides like the fake Drizzle speed tier.
Aside from the funny water lizard setting up screens.
I got sniped on so many mons that I won for speed tiers. I was like, my S tier. So I picked up Dewpider first, and after a while, I was like, I can just save my S tier to the end because there's a lot, right? I can pick up like Electabuzz. I was thinking Magmar or Sneasel, regular Sneasel because that was still left on the board, etc. But then I was like, well, going through just all the speed was getting sniped. I was like, man, Drizzle. That's it.
Man, Drizzle. Yes, give me the fake speed tier.
Fake speed tier is crazy.
Alright, let's move on to the next thing.
Yeah,
I think
basically, more of the story, this is probably the number 1 team in the league so far.
Right. That's going right besides Adorian. Next, we got Ice.
Oh, actually, hold up. Also, look at my team and see what type is good against me. Exactly. I cover for everything.
I was about to say, fighting, kind of. Because Kirlia is a fake fighting resist.
He has Dewpider. Don't feed his. Yeah. Like
my apologies. Dewpider will carry all.
Exactly. No, I think we can find some hope, for sure.
I mean, there's holes in everyone's team, but personally,
the main hole for me, I speed.
Like take a needle, poke the Dewpider in the head. I think we got some hope.
I was about to say, yeah, you punch Dewpider a little too many times, and then your team kind of just doesn't like fighting types very much. But luckily, there aren't.
I think y'all are sleeping on 90 base defense coughing, by the way.
I'm not sleeping on coughing, bro. It's just chill.
95 base defense. Literally,
yeah, you hold Evilite
deals
too?
with every fight in the board.
I'm not hating on any fighting types or coughing.
I was about to say, I'm not hating on coughing either. I'm just saying that that's, in my opinion, the type that your team would struggle with the most.
That is valid.
Yeah, you better add that Terra Ghost to your Jupiter. Oh wait, you already have it.
Yeah, he has Terra. Exactly. He also has Terra Fairy on Groddle, so that gives you another fighting resist.
Yeah, I see Terra Fairy Groddle coming like almost every week. Just Curse Leech. That's it.
Curse
I might have made my week 1 team already. And it may
Don't leak it.
I asked for Mox and everyone laughed at me and then said Lamau no.
Yeah, who does Mox?
Bro, that's like Mox when you got a Dewpider.
Well, exactly. I don't have a Dewpider meta, so I'm asking for Mox.
Alright, let's move on to Ice's team.
Yes.
Ice, I think I need to take his mod away after drafting this ridiculous team, but that's just me.
Literally, when I saw Ice's team, there was like one thing that went straight, like instant thought. I was like, get rid of Terra on Arctivax and put it on Quoden. That's it.
Yes, I mean I can see that, but honestly, Quilladin like might not even need that Terra. Like, I was talking to him about it afterwards, and the thought process checked out. I'm not gonna leak too much, but the way this team is built, it's very particular. Cosmo, like that's it. But no, like you start off with Blackie, and you have things like Pika and whatever that ugly duck is. I don't know its name.
Quaxwell.
Yeah, I know its name. I just call it ugly duck. It's ugly. Anyways, I would never pick it because it's ugly. But
dang. Quaxwell haters out here. I feel offended, you know.
I'm
yes,
sorry.
I'm not sure who that is in chat, but yes, I am offended as well.
I'm sorry, I just don't draft ugly Pokemon. But no, like for real, like you have terrain for things like Pikachu, Baby Typhlosion, even like the Ertabax. Like, who has Terra Electric and Terra Steel? Like, you have potential to cook a lot. I think like looking at paper, this team seems mid, but there's a lot of modes that you can run. Also, the Pikachu can get a hat. So
now y'all may be asking, what is Cosmoem doing there? And let me tell you this: it's the best mon on their team.
Yeah.
Their team.
Yeah, exactly. Like,
it is a bulky teleport pivot.
Yeah, exactly. Like, you're like, okay, I need to take a hit right now. Cosmoem button. Now your opponent actually has to think if you're actually gonna click teleport or just stall for a little bit.
What's the knock switch in?
Cutiefly.
Honestly, no.
Y'all are hating on Cutiefly. Poison.
I'm not hating on Cutiefly. It's just funny to hear the word knockoff switching and Cutiefly in the same sentence.
No, let me tell you this.
Cutiefly doesn't need the item.
Terra Fairy. Cutiefly clicks Terra Fairy. You knock it and it dies. All right.
That's crazy.
All right.
That is crazy.
I have a knockoff from what I know. All right. It'll die.
Because everything on this list wants to keep its item, like especially Pikachu. If Pikachu loses Light Ball, it cries. If Marshtomp loses its probably leftovers, it cries. If Quilava loses Scarf, it cries because it wants to click Terrify or Eruption into every team on this roster.
Yes. It probably
Honestly, here's the thing though, man. I still think that Quilladin should Terra, and I'll tell you exactly why. All right. You have grassy terrain Wacky. Okay. Now imagine Belly Drum, Grassy Glide, Terra Grass Quilladin. All right. Let me tell you this. You got spikes, right? You got a really good spiker there, right? If you need it. Quilladin is fat, right? It's basically just him, right? Just Terra it, right? Arctibax. I mean, you have Sword Stance, it doesn't get Dragon Dance. But like, Quilladin though is him.
I mean, like, I don't hate it, but I feel like his team would not like useless backs. Like, he would need like an actual dragon. If he is like, hey, I'm gonna commit to Terra Quilladin, like Bax is just gonna fall out of place. Like that thing won't like. And
Well,
I think
I challenge that, but that's fair.
like okay, Bax like I feel like Ice Dragon is a decent typing, but when it's Artifact that we're talking about, it has decent HP and attack. But you kind of want that Dragon Dance. Does it get Dragon Dance?
This thing doesn't
No.
get Scale Shot. Oh,
It
okay,
gets
never
Sword
mind.
Dance.
This is bad.
It's just
Oh,
Sword
this
Stance.
wants to SD.
Yeah, it
Yeah,
wants
this-
to SD Scale Shot like back Excalibur does. I thought this thing got Scale Shot,
No.
but it doesn't.
Let me tell you what your speed is on Arctibax, alright?
It's
Zero.
You have
62.
Salad Berry, alright? That's it. That's your way to get speed. You have Salad Berry. You have Blunder
Well, I
Policy, right?
Blunder
Policy
what?
for what?
Blunder Policy Dragon Rush. There you go. I already gave him a set.
Amazing. I was about to say, why would you gamble on that and not just use like webs?
Nah,
Okay,
I
now-
think
I will
think you
say
definitely need webs.
one thing on this team, right, is if Quilava like Terras or it wants to run eruption sets, look at Fairy on this team, like Fairy against this team, right? I mean, yes, you have Steel Artifacts, but just in general, right?
Yeah.
Nothing
That
wants
is
to
a
do with
good
Fairy.
point. This team has no fairy switching.
This team
Like,
has
fuck,
no
actually,
switch-ins
get
in
the Terra
general.
off.
What do you
Like
mean?
once Cosmoem is down, like what are you switching in to take a hit?
Quilladin,
I mean-
Like
probably.
Marchstone?
I feel like you're underestimating Marshtomp's bulk, but
I
then
think
again,
okay. I think like this team on paper looks weird, but
Mhm.
if you set it up properly, things like Quaxwell, things like Quilladin can sweep once they're broken by like Pikachu or Quilava or
Right,
yeah.
even
this-
like Thwackey.
this team has some really good wall breakers. My biggest concern with this team though is like we said, it lacks switch-ins to certain types. Like this team does not have a fairy switch-in, this team does not have flying switch-ins. Yes, Pikachu technically resists flying, but Pikachu wants to hold Light Ball and not Eviolite and will just die.
I think this team is gonna excel if you use Cosmo properly. I know
I'm-
it's kind of wild to say, but
I mean, to be
For the-
fair, like, yeah. I mean, look at. They don't really have too many pivots on their team outside of Cosmo, funny enough. Like, yes, Thwackey gets. I think Thwackey gets U-turn, right?
Yep.
But
And
a lot of the
check.
time, you might get like 4 move slots. Syndrome with
I mean,
Thwackey.
what
and-
Wacky has U-turn.
Yeah,
Actually,
Thwackey.
the top
Marshtomp
three-
has
the top
flip
three.
turn.
No,
I don't
Marshtomp doesn't
think-
get flip turn.
Marshtomp does not have flip turn.
What?
Nope.
Okay.
I think Cutiefly gets U-turn and that's about it.
Cutiefly doesn't want it. Cutiefly just dies.
Yeah, Cutiefly comes
Like, it
in,
doesn't get used
steps.
to it.
Listen, we asked for what pivot moves do they have, and that was the answer.
Like, yes, the top 3 do pivot, right? But as well as like, what do they pivot into?
Yeah.
They're all fast, like Quilava if you're running like an eruption set, you want like a slow pivot. Like you don't got that. I mean, if you want like I don't know, like there's just not the top three are all offensive pivots. There's no like bulky pivot, right?
I was about to say the bulky pivot is Cosmo. There's also, to me, there's also there's fantastic synergy with Grassy Search here, of course, with Belly Drum, Grassy Glide, Quilladin, and Grassy Terrain giving Quilava recovery if it's been chipped for its eruption damage. But Marshtomp doesn't like being on this team, especially with Mons floating around with a bunch of grass coverage, because Marshtomp just dies.
Yeah.
Marshtomp also, the problem with Marshtomp is it doesn't get ground coverage that isn't like affected by Grassy Terrain, right? Like it doesn't get high horsepower, like it doesn't get stomping tantrum. Like you have earthquake, you have earth power, right? Like if you're going to run earth power on this, I guess.
Does Bulldoze get affected by Grassy Terrain? I forget.
I think it does, but Dig might not.
Maybe.
And you don't want to rely on the Dig.
Yeah, definitely not.
Yeah, unless you're committing to Power Art every week or once.
Yeah, sure, Power Art, and then you're not EBLA much, and then you die to Bullet Seed Cosmical.
Yeah.
Anyway, Pikachu's going to be a menace with Light Ball, and Terra Fire Eruption Quilava is going to be a menace, and yeah.
Yeah. I think this is going to take a little bit of creativity from Ice for his team to excel.
Right.
There's definitely some good stuff going on though.
Right. Yeah. There's definitely some plays that can absolutely be made with this team, but the lack of defensive switch-ins makes me concerned.
I'm not too worried about this, honestly, for defense. Like, I feel like Ice is gonna find a way to make his team bulky. Because knowing Ice, like, he likes to prep a lot into, like, where he will find answers that he might not be thinking of on the spot, like looking at the team on paper. So we'll probably be surprised this season.
If Ice just steals the Morgram from Adorian, like this could just make it like really offensive, right? Like those top three are already pretty offensive. Just steal that Morgram, get parting shot, dual screen in a very ideal scenario, I guess.
Right.
Like, I mean, you have dual screens with Gotharita, I guess, which is like, it's okay, sending screens. But I feel like on this team, Gotharita wants to be a lot more offensive.
This team also does not like hazards.
I mean, you have Quaxwell, right?
I know you have Quaxwell, but the thing is, Quaxwell isn't resistant to any of the hazard types, so it's forced to run boots every week unless it wants to die to hazards at some point. Because nothing on this team resists hazards except for Marshtomp.
Yeah.
As a matter of fact, a lot of his team is weak to rocks.
That is true, yeah.
Well, but we'll see how he does.
Yeah. Moving on.
We'll see.
All right, up next we got
glazing section.
Oh boy.
This dude, every time he plays draft, he just cooks. That's where I'm gonna start. I think his draft was a pretty good start with, what was it, like Tinkatuff the first pick?
Yeah, I think he drafted Tinkatuff first.
He knew that there was like no good seals and berries, so he picked up Tinkatuff.
Which is a very smart play.
I think Pup's whole play in this draft was picking up Mons like left and right, but not unveiling his whole game plan till like the last 2 or 3 picks, which was very smart to do in a draft like this. Like you're drafting things like Sneasel and Marini way later into the draft. That puts your team's cohesion, like at the very end, and not like showing like the other coaches who are drafting with you, like what your plans are, which was pretty interesting to see.
Yeah, to let you all know as well, like the Sneasel pick from Pup, like the only people who haven't gotten S tiers at that point were me and Adorian. So what I think, yeah, the rest got their S tiers and Sneasel wasn't picked up, which is like crazy.
Yeah.
A lot of people ignored S tiers for a lot longer than I thought they were going to ignore it, because we had a couple of people pick up S tiers really late into the draft.
I think like I wasn't too surprised with it because like there was a lot of options for S tiers, and if you didn't prioritize S tiers, you could have just left it till like the very, very end.
Really?
Pick like higher value Pokemon in some of the other tiers where like there was a limited pool. So it's not out of the ordinary that something like this happens, but it depends on like you as a coach on what your priorities are in this draft, and that kind of showed with some of the picks.
I'll say this, like Pup got Servine, that was one of the biggest snipes for me. I ain't gonna lie, I was looking at Servine so hard. Like, for those who don't know as well, Servine is Terraband. It is a B, but it's one of the only 2 B tiers. It and Hakamoa were the only ones Terraband in B. Servine just looks so good still.
Yeah.
Servine is, to me, kind of okay. Like, it, without Terra, it definitely drops to me in usage. I mean, obviously it gets glare and it gets dual screens, which is actually, this thing gets a lot more support than I thought it did.
Exactly. It gets knock, it gets taunts, you know. You can run physical and run aerial ace to hit the grass types. There's like not as many steals, so Leaf Storm spam is just solid, and it puts on a lot of pressure.
Gotcha. Honestly, since very few people drafted Sap Sippermons, Servine definitely has a lot more room. It doesn't get knock. I mean,
I'm on Showdown right now. Says it does.
But yeah, it gets knock. So yeah, it's a good utility. Unless that sentence was just phrased incorrectly, but yeah, gets knock off. Bullet Seed. Its physical options are weird, but knockoff is always good. In an FE.
Yeah, and like you can always run contrary coil, right? Because that works. So it'll be cool to see.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I'm gonna run
Also,
contrary
Mono, don't
coil.
call me Kiwi. Sorry, continue.
We were just glazing Servine because that's what we should do. Honestly, this is just a glazing Pup section.
Glazing Pup section. I'm honestly just terrified of some of his Terra captains, like Terra Monferno and Terra Meryl. That can be terrifying. No pun intended. But Belly Drum Huge Power Aquajet kind of just murders most people mid-late game.
Also, no spoilers, but like, don't sleep on that Terracotta Squire. Like, if he brings what he's been bringing, man, like, that's a threat.
It definitely is a threat.
Yeah.
Definitely is.
Also,
this team is a bunch of threats.
I mean, Meta, you said we've been glazing Pup the whole time. Like, I think I mentioned this a little bit before. Bro's gonna have to hit his moves. Like Hustle, Blind, Zuelis. It has 4 eyes, but it's gonna be blind. Same with Sneasel. Like, sometimes that's gonna matter, and it's gonna
See,
make
with
up
these
for
forms,
some
it's
great
fun.
content. But yeah,
Truly.
I'll say, yeah, if he hits his moves, he's fine.
Yeah.
And plus, it doesn't even have to be physicals wireless, honestly.
yeah, but you still carry hustle.
Well, hustle doesn't affect special moves.
Well,
Now, I'm gonna be honest though. I'm loving my Electabuzz in this matchup. Look at Bolt and look at this team. Meryl. That's it.
Meryl is going
Terra
to click
Ground,
Terra Ground with a ferocity, and you're going to get perish. You're going to get perished.
yeah, that Deep Hider is gonna say bye-bye.
Truly.
I think okay. So I kind of guessed the Marini pick when Pup didn't enter it. It's like that seemed like the most cohesive pick, but Duosion is something like that. I kind of was like selling it to him because I was looking at his team, and then I figured like, how could I make this like just way more threatening? And Duosion was still on the board, and he has the perfect picks to make Duosion work. Like that thing is a monster already, but when you pair it with things like Tinkaton or Sneasel or Marini, like you're just chilling the whole time. Like you pivot, you get Duosion in, get a hit off, like you're probably gonna kill something if it doesn't have EV Light. So I think this was a pretty well planned draft, and that's why like there's like not too many things that you could point out, be like, hey, that thing seems off, but it's just fun.
No, I agree. Like this draft is crazy. That's it.
Yeah.
I'm trying to find like a hole like at all in this team.
I guess like
I mean, like if you have a pretty decent ground type, you could break this team nicely, but you have to be very careful on when that Sneasel comes in or that Servine tries to set up. So you have to you're gonna need a combination of Pokemon to break this team properly, and that's something like coaches are gonna have to think about when they face Pup.
I will say hazards are pretty annoying for this team. He has no rapid spinner, I believe, because I don't think Varoom gets rapid spin. So Corvusquire is Well, I mean, yeah, Corvusquire is forced to run defog anytime it comes, which isn't terrible, but it's predictable.
But I also
see, the thing is, like in terms of hazard, is if you're setting up hazards in front of this team and you let something accidentally set up when you're setting up hazards, you might be in big trouble. So, like, sure.
Varoom is just there to observe the fun. It's not doing anything is crazy.
It's crazy that people underestimate Varoom because you can literally parting shot pivot so easily. Like, I know like it was a little bit higher tiered when we first started tiering for this, but I don't think this was a D tier mod. Like, Varoom has some decent
Oh no, it's D tier for sure.
It's absolutely D tier.
It has some decent like things that you can do with it.
Yeah, looking at its stats, literally its only use is to be annoying and parting shot.
Yeah, I mean, like if you're gonna look at stats, sure, it's a D tier mod, and that's why I didn't like Arctic. But if you look at the utility that it might offer, it's somewhere in the middle. But anyways,
and plus it's a steel type at this point.
Yeah,
everyone's fiending for a steel type. According to Smogon, it's a good counter to Tinkatuff and NFE. They're both on the same team.
Exactly.
I'll be honest, I was picking up Varoom if Beard got sniped. But like this thing is still just very mediocre. Like, I mean, your setup is Curse, right? You don't have ship here. Like, it's really slow. Like you either with parting shot here, I feel like you either want bulky, slow, or fast. Like one
Fast
or the other.
offense.
Right, and it's just like not that.
Yeah.
But it's definitely not bad, right? I mean, it gives you some decent roll compression, gives you a steal, gives you a grounded poison. I mean, you have Marini, but like still parting shot, you know. I don't know.
Yeah.
I do think.
I mean, like you can also
with
set
all
up
the
toxic
details on the
spikes and
board,
stuff.
yeah, with all the details on the board, that's probably the best one for this team. I do think it like shares a lot of the same roles as Marini, in my opinion.
You're not gonna parting shot with Marini. I think Pup's mainly looking for parting shot utility.
Outside of parting shot.
Yeah. I mean, it's a D tier at the end of the day.
It is still a
You're
D tier.
probably
Speaking of which, this team also kind of it has a weird matchup into strong ground types. Like, of course, Corvus Squire is here, but at the end of the day, you're relying on Corvus Squire for so much to keep this team from taking too much chip, which can be overwhelming.
Which I mean is fine because Corvik's job anyway. Like, I know this is Corvus Squire, but Corvik's job is just to roost and U-turn. Like,
right,
you could
roost,
just
turn,
make
and
Corvus
U-turn,
Squire
yeah.
just U-turn and roost. But I do think, I think his defensive backbone is like fine. Take it tough, Duosion, Marini, like is all right. I do agree though, like ground offensively may be a bit weird. I do think Servine deals with a lot of the grounds. Okay.
Yeah, and it even opens up Sneasel a little bit because if you pivot at the right time, like, sure, you might have a powerful ground, but how are you going to answer to Sneasel if it gets in?
That's a good point.
Yeah, Sneasel is just. And then you switch on Sneasel and it clicks like SD, and then what?
Yeah.
Me rubbing my hands together after Terra watering my mud brain.
No, I think this is going to be a fun team to observe throughout the season, just because of how versatile it is and how many different codes it can run.
All I'm saying is, if Pup does watch this, I need you to bring a Nasty Plot, a Surf set with Ice Beam as well, at least 1 week.
You know, Pup will do it, and Pup will 6-0 somebody with it.
And it'll be
yeah. Don't give him ideas.
Me.
Like, we already have him cooking. Like,
we have too many insane people in this league. But moving on, yeah. We are on the whose team is this? I forget who drafted Crocolore.
This is Cat's team.
Oh, it's Cat's.
This is Cat's team. And this is Cat's first ever draft league, from what I've heard. And all things considered, they didn't do terrible, I'd say.
Okay, first off,
so a little bit context.
In A tier.
A little bit context before you guys start going on about Cat's team. Cat is a different battler than most conventional battlers. So she is going to use mons that might not see usage normally, or something that you would expect. So creative side of things is what you might want to look at more often when you judge her teams in terms of like viability and stuff like that. And in draft league, obviously we look at like how cohesive a team is, but also it's her first. So we'll see like how her creative side of battling goes with a draft league. Soon enough.
Terra Water Choice Banded Brion noted. All right.
Yeah.
Look, all I'm
Definitely.
gonna say is I'm gonna start talking about this team, and I'm gonna start talking about Dunsparce. And I'm gonna start talking about EV like Dunsparce. All right, that thing is too hard to prep for. I would
Right.
know because I faced Cat week 1.
Hey, no spoilers. Hold on.
I mean, I haven't fought her yet,
Oh,
but just in prep, like Dunsparce does everything.
I was about to say Dunsparce and Porygon seem very annoying to deal with Eviolite, especially if you don't have consistent knockoff Pokemon. You just don't break them, like at all.
Yeah, and just add unaware Crocodile in that mix. I think we have a good team going.
Truly.
Now, I will say, like, we could, like, just talking about, like, traditionally speaking, like, this team gets eaten by fighting. Let's be honest. Jigglypuff is doing too, like, this draft is held together by Jigglypuff, I'll be honest. The
That's
amount
crazy.
of roles that Jigglypuff offers for this team is ridiculous. It's the fairy for the team. It's the steel for the team, right? It's a rocker. It's the screen spawn for the team. It gets what? Doesn't it get wish? Yeah, it gets wish, right? Like, this is probably I'd say probably one of the top 5 D tiers that we have.
Yeah. I think I'm looking forward to that Trumbeak, not gonna lie. Like, I wish that was Terra, but I get that she wanted to Terra the Weeping Bell. Trumbeak seems like a Pokemon that would do well in this format with Terra. Like, there are some scary Trumbeak sets that you could probably run and get away with on a team like this, especially. But I think this team will come down to, hey, can I guide this team to be annoying and funny at the same time?
Really?
To confuse people first and foremost, and then accomplish my task of, taking that confusion and playing to my strategy the way I want to.
No, I feel like this team is in desperate need of webs.
Yeah, yeah, that's fair. Yeah,
because everything below Trumbeak is 50 and below.
Yeah, I see that. Do we got Tailwind? Yeah, we got Tailwind from
Trumbeak.
I think Trumbeak gets Tailwind.
Even Dunsparce, I think, gets Tailwind. I think. Okay, so on this team,
users' webs are not possible. Not possible.
I think, like, on this team, you probably want to do Thunderwave spam more than webs, which
That's
could be
fair.
worthwhile.
Yeah,
like, obviously we didn't have that many web setters, but Thunderwave could work for this team.
Actually, no. Like, even with Thunderwave, Thunderwave, yes, but also just look at how much paralysis she does, right?
Yeah.
Glare or Body Slam Dunsparce. Porygon has Thunderwave. Pomo has Nuzzle. Weeping Bell has Stun Spore. Jigglypuff has T-Wave. I'm running, spoiler alert, I'm running all Lumberries.
That's crazy.
I'm running substitute on everything.
Yes.
Hi, Cheesy, welcome in.
So, I think this will be a funny team to look
Playing
at.
Light Ball Frogadier. True, very true.
Now, I'll also say that her 3 B tiers, I feel like all want a Terra. But Terra Brion, I'm not mad about.
You're a Brion non-believer.
Like you kind of want to give it to something like Porygon, not gonna lie. Like, even Growler, I see it, but if you give it to something like Porygon, it just excels a lot more. But I feel like the Terra on Brion was more of a defensive move. I don't know, like, if you needed that.
You can't look at Brion and look at Terra Ice and say that's defensive.
Okay, yeah, sure. Terra Ice is not defensive, but, like, Terra Water and Terra Ground, I think, was more of a defensive. But I could be wrong.
Hold on, let me look at Brion, because I think you're underestimating Brion heavily, because it's
I looked at Brion and I tiered it with something like, what was it tiered with? I was looking at a certain Pokemon. Oh yeah, Braixen. Like I was looking at Braixen and Brion. Sure, it's insane in terms of offense, but like it's still bulky. Like it's the mon that is perfect definition of bulky offense.
It is a very good bulky offense.
I'm not sleeping on Brion. Brion won't be in water. That was one to pick up. But like,
yeah,
look at Graveler, just like sitting there. Like, look at Porygon also sitting there. I don't mind Brion with Terra, but like, all three of her guys really want Terra.
Right.
Actually,
also,
the other two want more Terra more.
Right. Also, thank you, Adorian. Yes, Terra Ice resists ice, but you know what else resists ice? Water.
Honestly, literally, immediate switch, just get rid of Terra Ice.
You guys are just missing the point. It's Choice Banded Triple Axle with Terra Ice. Come on now.
Oh, you're so right. My bad.
And Yoshi has that Terra Water mud spray that just walls it then.
Right. That thing just gets nuked with energy ball. So. Wait, does this thing get energy ball? It doesn't.
No.
Yoshi, you're good.
Yeah, let's go.
It
does get Ice Beam though, so.
Sure.
And I could get Draining Kissed into the next dimension, but you know.
Yeah.
Those drafts look interesting. How does it work? So, basically, to keep it short, group of people take turns looking at a draft board, and we pick Pokemon in a set order. Each person's only allowed to draft that one specific Pokemon. If it's taken, you can't pick it up. The way this particular league goes is that Pokemon are categorized into tiers. We have S to D, S being, of course, the best of the best that are legal, and then D tier is like, this isn't really all that great, or it's very, very niche type beat. And you get one Terra Captain per tier, starting from B tier, C tier, and then D tier. No overlapping Terras. Hopefully that explanation wasn't oversimplified, but that's the gist of it without me droning on for 15 minutes.
Yeah. And if you're curious, I'll probably just end up uploading this again. And we talked about it a fair bit in this starting. So.
Yeah, go follow Offline on YouTube. He's the actual Pokemon YouTuber here.
He's almost at
the actual Pokemon YouTuber.
He is an actual Pokemon YouTuber.
Right.
A Poketuber, as they call him.
The more and more I look at this team, the more I'm like, Terra Porygon makes a lot more sense than Terra Brion. I ain't gonna lie.
Well, listen, let her cook.
Yeah, let her cook. It's her first draft.
As I said, let her cook. She has Terra Weepinbell. Let her cook.
Yeah, exactly.
We're
about to see some Sunny Day shenanigans out of the
I was just about to say Sunny Day Core into Weepinbell, into Brion.
into Brion.
into Sun Weatherball Brion. I mean, yes, actually.
Oh my god, that would be great.
Weatherball?
Yeah, it gets Weatherball.
No, that has to be. That's Cat.
It doesn't get Weatherball.
It does get Weather. Wait, where did it go?
No, it doesn't.
Oh, my bad. It does not get Weatherball. Adorian, you lied to me.
Adorian always like. Who's listening to Adorian? Like Yoshi, you're this close to getting kicked.
What? Why am I getting kicked because Adorian lied to me? Yes, Primarina does get Weatherball, but Brion does not.
You're listening to Adorian, that's why.
Listen, Primarina also gets Calm Mind, but Adorian, I mean, you know what? Yeah, Adorian doesn't get Calm Mind.
Exactly. Yeah, I think we should move on to the next one.
Yeah, we're close. This is the second to last team.
We're so close.
And this
Alright.
is my boy Shplim's team.
It's my guy, Shplim.
It's my guy, Shplim.
Looking at this team, keeping it real, this was probably like the top S tier that I wanted, I think. I didn't
Really?
take it because I took Jupiter, but I really wanted Gligar.
Fair.
That's fair.
I was eyeing Gligar when I was like, hey, I'm participating because acrobatics look pretty good.
Just the amount of stuff it does is crazy.
Right. I was eyeing Cranidos, honestly, because I like... It's a terrifying D tier pick.
Man,
It's crazy.
I got Choice Scarf Jupiter, I ain't worried.
That Cranidos is about to take lives, you're correct. It is about to Choice Scarf head smash something and just obliterate it 3 times over. You know, in the damage calc, it tells you the percentage. Just every Pokemon is going to be Choice Scarf Terra Rock head smash 400%.
I think it's crazy that Adorian told Cranidos to every single one of the coaches and didn't proceed to pick it. That's how we know Cranidos is fake.
Offline isn't a Cranidos believer. What gave that away?
like you have a Pupitar on your team. Screw the Cranidos. Just use the Pupitar instead. I'm saying, Shplim, if you're listening to this, I'm saying drop that Cranidos and pick up a Nuzlocke, alright? Forget about this Cinnamon. You already started the Gen 2, Gen 5 thing, whatever is going on there. Pick up that Skiploom or that Nuzlocke. It's gonna be so much better than the screen.
I was going to pick it, but got sniped of Charge-a-Bug. Made me change my whole plan.
The excuses that I've been hearing the whole draft. Oh no, my webs. Oh no, I got sniped. If you're gonna commit, you just commit. Whether you get webs or not. You find another way. You literally have Morgrim. Paralyze their whole entire team with Thunder Wave. Doesn't matter. You have a Swadloon.
Yeah, wait a minute. You do have a Swadloon. You're fine. You have webs.
That's what I said. It's just excuses. He doesn't want to draft the Crane.
I forgot that he had Swadloon, and I was like, well, webs can be, game changing sometimes. I was like, wait, we actually have webs.
Yeah, it's just excuses. I'm telling you. Anyways,
yeah, but
looking
by that
at
point, I got
Shplim's
Glimmet.
Let me tell y'all something about this team, okay?
Mm-hmm.
All the teams we've seen before this had at least one Cope D tier pick.
Yeah.
I think this is probably the first team at least that has actually solid D tier picks. And then
now
look
hold
at
on a minute.
Team, and I can't see a bad mod.
Hold on a minute. I don't agree with that D tier statement.
Okay,
what do you
D
mean?
tier is bad on their team?
Yeah.
Granados with Terra.
Explain yourself.
If it was non-Terra Granados, then sure. But Granados with Terra is fine.
I'm gonna be for real. Cottony is kind of a cope pick because all it does.
Yo, stop hating on Cottony.
No. Hold on, no. You're not gonna do that to me. If you get to hate on Cranidos, I get to have my moment to hate on something.
Hey, you can't ever legally hate on a prankster mon when I'm in comp. That's just not possible.
Okay, well, cope is my
and
answer.
it's a fluff ball. I picked this in Paldex.
Listen,
I made it work.
Listen, I love Whimsicott. I love the Whimsicott line with all my heart and soul, but
Nah, you can't start that. You can't start that and say.
What? My God forbid I have an opinion.
You can't. Not for Cottony.
Yoshi, let me tell you this, alright? Let me tell you what Cottony does, right? It comes in, it clicks growth, right? Setting up that attack and special attack, okay? Then it clicks tickle, right? Lowering the opponent's attack and defense, alright? Then you click encore to lock them, right? You probably do that before everything. And then finally you click memento, alright? That's what you do.
that's insane.
Amazing. I mean, that's prankster shenanigans. Okay, then how do we feel about Apalm? How are we feeling about Apalm?
I think Apalm is a good move. Yeah. I mean, it's a Gen 2, Gen 5 team. Apalm was probably one of the best picks from there. It can do a lot of things. Like it can be a hindrance if you use it properly. Like you're not gonna see Apalm kill stuff, obviously, but it can hinder a lot. Like if you set it up properly end game, like you might see it take some lives. So
the thing, my issue with Apalm is that its only usable ability is Skill Link, but the only move that it gets that makes use of Skill Link is Double Hit and Fury Swipes.
No, but you don't even run Skill Link, right? You run Fake Out, you click Double Edge, right?
Yeah.
And you click U-turn, right?
But you just said the word you don't use Skill Link, so are you using Pickup?
Well, I'm saying, like, the ability doesn't really matter in terms of, like, really this Mon, all it does is it's just an offensive facilitator. That's all it is. Right. You click T-Wave occasionally, you click Fake Out to come in, get that prio, you can taunt, you U-turn out, and maybe you might have a game where you just run like offensive, like some weird acrobatics or like nasty quad with 40 base special attack. I don't know.
Also, this is like an easy knockoff user. Like you're not gonna expect this to win games for you. Why not just click knock and hinder the team? Like, I think for a D tier, it has value.
It definitely does. Also, Adorian saying, "Is this a hidden Sunny Day team with Chlorophyll, Cottony, Pignite, and Prankster Murkrow?"
Honestly, not a bad shout.
I was about to say, yeah. Definitely could work. Yeah. Listen, Sun boosted, Sheer Force, Life Orb, Graditos.
I think we need to get you off that Graditos pill and actually respect Cottony.
I dislike the fact that I can't have an opinion.
You're sleeping on Cottony and praising Graditos.
I'm not
That's all I'm saying.
sleeping on Cottony. I'm fully aware of what Cottony's capable of. I just simply said you can't say that there's no coping in the slightest on this team.
No, there is zero cope.
There is none. Like
none.
If you try to cope on this team, I'm sorry, but you might be in big trouble with
Your Force, Life Orb, Flamethrower, Graditos, Undersun. See, there you go. Thank you.
Like you're just listening to the wrong people.
Okay, we're moving on to the next team.
No, hold up.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
All right. Look at Murkrow and Cottony, right? You have two Prankster users. Oh no, let me use my Dark type. And then you got Pignite, right? That punishes pretty much every Dark type in the format.
Yeah, and like you got pivots like U-turn Gligar, U-turn Electric. I think that thing gets U-turn as well. Baton Pass.
Best hazard stacker, like
yeah. Like Baton Pass, Girafarig. Like you have a lot of pivot, and you pair that with Prankster users, and it just becomes a lot better.
Does Crocodile get Sheer Force this early?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
It is Sheer Force. Yep.
My goodness.
That's why it's a demon.
It is a demon, and I think since we got the newest evolution in Scarlet and Violet, Eviolite Girafarig definitely puts in work with Nasty Plot. Yeah, Girafarig gets Wish. It's a bulky baton Wish passer, which is very good.
This
and having
another S tier. That's just it.
Oh, we have too many S tiers.
We do have too many S tiers.
Okay.
We're gonna have to talk a little bit, but it's okay. No, I think this is a pretty solid team in terms of like what the team Shplim was trying to go for, and like it's not like, hey, my team got ruined by a team. I feel like your team just got a little bit better because you're following a theme and you just picked up some of the most powerful threats on the board. So we'll see how it goes. I think I think this team definitely has potential.
It definitely does.
To being good. So we'll see how he does.
We'll say additionally, would like it's not necessarily needed, but would like a spin blocker, maybe like a Terragos Pupitar could be okay, but just a thought.
I mean, he has Terragos Kranikos.
That's not what a spin block anyway.
I was about to say, you were just talking bad about Kranidos.
No, like, I literally rolled my eyes. Obviously, I don't have my face cam on, but like take that away.
Yeah.
Put it on Pupitar or something.
All right, Lo-Fi boy. All right.
Lo-Fi boy.
Anyways, we're gonna move on to the last team. That is Jay.
It is Jay, and Jay has drafted Demonic.
Yeah, Yo, this is the last pick of the draft, and we have this kind of a team. I'm just saying. Like, I wasn't playing, but you guys.
Yeah, I'm genuinely surprised that Jay got away with some of these picks. But then again, I'm trying to think. This team has some wacky speed tiers.
I don't think speed tier is gonna matter.
It doesn't, but I just thought the numbers were funny.
It is like a Walter high, Fletchinger and goodbye. All right, I think speed is done.
Honestly, just look at the first 6 mons, and just what do you do against that? Right? Yeah. What do you do?
Like Earthquake.
What? You gonna click Earthquake into Primplum?
Actually, I mean, yes. To be fair.
I mean, what's Primplum gonna do?
No,
I don't know. Actually, no, never mind.
I was about to say, if we're just exclusively looking at the first 6 mons, you just click Earthquake and pray.
Yeah. That's why she picked up the Fletchinger.
Right, Fletchinger is a very good pick.
What's crazy about this team is that she has 3 grass types and none of them resist ground.
Wait, you're right.
No, that's why I didn't say anything, because I'm like, there is nothing that resists.
I was about to say, you just click Earthquake into this team and you laugh, and then Fletchinder just goes, wait, I'm gonna switch into this, and then it gets stone edged and dies.
No, it turns into Terra Grass.
If it Terra grounds, then you click Earthquake. If it Terra Grasses, you still click Stone Edge.
That's crazy. I think, okay, hear me out. I think this is like a team that might need to figure out its identity, but also, like, how many powerful Earthquake spammers are there in this draft besides the Bite, Croc Rock?
Yeah, Croc Rock. Probably the
Gligar, maybe.
Excuse me, you're forgetting my Mudbray. Thank you.
The small horse. We'll take
it. It has base 100 attack. It's stronger than Croc. It's stronger than Crocodile.
No shot. It has base 100.
I mean, not 100. Does. That's its defense. It has base 70. It's still.
No, base 100. That's crazy. Base 100.
And that's where we ignore the Diglett.
The Diglett. Hold on. Am I getting gaslit again? Hold on. I mean, Mudbray has base 100 attack. Don't gaslight me again.
No, I said it was 100.
No, not you. I'm talking to meta.
Oh, no. I didn't know it was 100.
No, Mudbray is...
It sounded like you said this thing does not have base 100, but yeah, Mudbray has base 100.
Yeah,
I am clicking Earthquake.
I mean, okay, look. This team, I think it needs to be, like, it seems cohesive on paper, but it has some flaws that could be addressed.
Okay, I think there's a really easy change you can do up front, and that's get rid of Voltorb and throw in Steedy.
Sure, but then you just lose all your speed tiers. I think what needs to change is that Dusclops. Like just drop the Dusclops and then pick up, I don't know, something. I don't see the Dusclops vision on this team particularly.
No, I think Dustcloak works with. Oh wait, does Gabite not get spikes?
No.
Or
No,
does it get spikes?
it
Oh,
doesn't
then
get it.
that's crazy. Okay.
Like I see the vision of what Jay was going for, right? With the team, but there needs to be some changes made for it to work out the way she was thinking. Like Fletchender, Primplup, even like Wish Pass, Floette. Like the tools are there, but you're missing like one or two pieces that could change this team in turn.
Honestly, this might be a hot take. I'm a big fan of like them switching Ivysaur out for something different here.
No, I think.
No,
Valid is just like.
I get it, because like, hey, Fungus and Ivysaur are like the same type. But sure, they have different roles, but like we have things like Combustion, Breaksin, even Alolan Growler still on the board.
That are all weak to ground.
I mean, okay, like if you're talking like ground resist, like you have to go to D tier with something like Nuzleaf or Steenie. I would say Nuzleaf is a better pick than Steenie personally, because you still get defog, and Nuzleaf actually could do something. Whereas Steenie just gets no coverage or nothing.
I was about to say, does Steenie not get Rapid Spin?
It spins.
Yeah, I mean, it
Steenie gets
spins,
Rapid
but
Spin.
okay, what do you do besides spinning? Steenie.
Triple Axle, Play Rough, Low Sweep.
With base 40 attack?
You run Lychee Berry or something.
That's crazy. Whereas like you have something like Nuzleaf, you still get your removal with defog, but now you have things like knockoff, fake out. You have chlorophyll uses if you really want to get fancy. You can explode on people, sucker punch.
Well,
the list goes on and on.
Adorian,
like,
Gloom is just the exact same typing as Ivysaur, so we're back to square one.
Yeah. Also, like, you could theoretically get Stantler and just change your whole game plan.
Nuzleaf is a fake ground resist. Don't listen to him.
Hey, ban that person in chat. I don't know who that is.
It's Adorian.
Obviously. No, but like, okay, to be honest, like, I think we might be missing some of the hidden strategies in this draft. Like, looking at Spore setup mons, like Garchomp gets, or Gabite gets SD. The tank can set up a lot too. Dusclops is just annoying. Ivysaur also, like, you get some viability out of it. I do agree Gloom is a little bit better than Ivysaur in this tier. So like, if you just, I mean, if you're committing to Ivysaur, commit to Ivysaur. But like, there is still like good like option on this team if we forget about the whole cohesion argument that we had. Like, you can still set up and do well. It's just how you're gonna execute that is going to be the answer that this team is going to have to answer.
Right. I say this team really needs just an actual ground resist, not an immunity, an actual ground resist.
I know we keep talking about ground resist, but honestly, they might have one of the best ground resists in Dusclops. Like, I mean,
right.
It'll probably eat up Earthquakes. You just Willow and Pace Split.
I mean, like, you have Fletchender too. Like,
yeah,
you have to be careful or pivot out, but like, it's not nothing.
No, it's not nothing. It gets Ice Beam. Oh, right. I was like, there's no way Fletchender gets Ice Beam, but yeah. Yeah. This will definitely be something interesting to see play together. I'm sure Jay will have some cooking to show us.
Oh, 100%.
I will say on paper, this team just looks like just tough.
It does look tough.
No, On paper, it looks scary.
In execution, we'll have to see. My other big gripe with this team is I don't think these Terras on Fungus are good. I honestly think we should have put... It's funny, but I really think that they should have put Terras on Voltorb instead.
I agree with that.
Because honestly...
No, I think you Terra Ghost on the Fungus and you're just...
Terra Ghost, I think, is... If you're going to Terra Fungus, Terra Ghost is definitely better. But personally, I like...
And Terra Flying. Your ground resist.
Oh. I was about to say, at that point, why don't you just Terra Grass? Actually, no, wait, you can't. Never mind.
Yeah.
But I'd honestly love to see, like, Terra Electric, Terra Ice, and then, like, Terra... What's another solid Terra type for a fast Mon? Because I was going to say Fairy or Fire, but you can't do that.
I just spam Terra Ground. I guess you can't do that because you have Fletchinder.
Yeah, maybe you could give Terra Flying to Voltorb or something, just to give it.
You make Fletchinder Terra Flying, and then you give Fire to Voltorb.
Yeah, I think that's true too. But like I think Fletchinder kind of wants Terra Fire though. In my opinion, like it has a lot of flying spam that you can just click. Fire, like you can click Flare Blitz and stuff, but like I feel like Terra Fire Flare Blitz is more scary.
That's fair, but there's a lot of bulky water types floating around, so I think honestly just having a much stronger flying move on Fletchinder could cause a lot more damage.
It's a toss up. Like it depends on the preference on like what your perspective is for this team.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Let me tell you what you do with this team, right? You draw Fletchinder and you pick up Dolud as a third D tier. Then you drop Trapinch and pick up Lonebright as a fourth D tier. And then you just drop your whole team and run Mono Grass, alright?
I was about to say, I was like, you were just dropping everything and replacing them with grass.
Alright, I think
just have Gloom, Ivysaur, and Lucas on this team.
Alright, before we get too far along, because we've been streaming for about a little bit over 2 hours, so let's go on to the teams. We'll go in order of representation. So
by the way, do you wanna share your screen with the tier list stuff?
Oh, sorry. Yes, I can do that.
Are we going to just rate based off vibes, or if you want to do it kind of like how we did the tiers for the Pokemon, where we do like 1S, 2A, 3B, etc.?
I thought we were just ranking on vibes of the team, because I feel like it would be kind of mean to put 3 people in B tier, and there's somebody else who deserves to be in B tier, but we have to put them in D because we have no room for them.
I think what we're gonna do. I mean,
we already know Adorian's in D, right?
I mean, like, okay, let's not beat around the bush. Adorian and Adorian tier. I don't think that's a D tier. I'm just putting Adorian in the Adorian.
Not a D tier.
Yeah, that's. For disclosure, Adorian, I didn't offline made these tiers. I did not.
Yeah, so I mean, I would get rid of the word D there, but it's the Adorian. Okay. It's on the bottom of the tier. So, yeah. I mean, like, we can't put Meta in the Adorian tier, obviously, because it's not.
Exactly.
By that logic, we can't put anyone in the Adorian tier except for Adorian.
Exactly. So it's just Adorian in the Adorian tier. Get it out of the way quick.
All right, we'll go in order then.
Yeah. So, all right. Let's start with Yoshi's team, and we can just like play around afterwards. Like once we are looking at like all the other teams and stuff.
I think Yoshi's probably an A for now. and then we can come back to it.
Yeah, I agree. Like A or B is where I'm falling for Yoshi's team, but I think
It
A
may
is
go to B
smart.
by A right now. We can always adjust later.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking too.
You know, it'd be
Alright.
nice to know my actual power ranking compared to the rest of the teams sometimes. Listen. Wait. Oh,
Hey.
D is
moving
your
on.
power ranking. You mean
Alright, Sleepy's team. I think Sleepy's team is definitely a good start to a B tier. Like
Yeah,
you
I think
have
it's B.
you have good weapons, but there is things you can improve.
Let me actually move my presentation over here so I can actually look at the tiers while I do this.
Yeah.
And for your first time drafting, having a solid B tier draft is pretty good.
Yeah, I agree.
Alright.
Krebs team, yeah, just put it in S.
I was about to say,
Like,
which one's Krebs?
it's the slashers, the Absol team.
Okay. Yeah, good lord. Yeah, this team is
Yeah,
horrifying.
like it's a crap team for sure.
It
Like
is.
I can't say anything.
Honestly, a Bayleaf team going into S tier has my vote. Honestly.
Like, okay, like sure she drafted Bayleaf, but also like other mons that are really good. So
She covers a lot of her like quote unquote holes on her team really well.
yeah, even like mons like particular weaknesses, like you basically like it's basically like dancing, like you basically jump around from mon to mon, covering each other's weaknesses, and that's what it ends up being at the end of the day. Is like, if I bring a team of 6, can I actually cover the weaknesses in a way where I can pivot or double or play around a certain way? And I think like this team allows her to do that. That's probably like the main reason why I'm putting it in S.
Okay.
I don't know if it's going to be like the number 1 S team. Wait, are we ranking with?
Yeah, we can.
Well?
We can. Yes, I would say so.
I think with Krebs' team, like an additional pivot would be nice. I think.
Yeah.
It's only
I haven't
at the moment.
I haven't seen like Kreb draft actual pivots. Like he might have, but I've definitely like not seen him draft too many pivots like in her.
Yeah, that's fair.
I might be missing something.
You have like Bayleaf, Seedra, like you have bulky switch-ins anyway, but it would be nice to like have an additional pivot just to like bring in stuff like, Hagamoto and Dragonair a bit better.
Yeah.
And Magneton even.
They're just confident in being able to hard switch, which I respect.
Yeah.
Alright. Adorian in the Adorian tier for sure.
Yep, of course, naturally. Anyway.
I think Adorian's team is like somewhere around A to B.
Is this Adorian's? This is Adorian's, right? Okay. You said A to B?
Like if I had to rank it, it's like A to B, but obviously Adorian's team is gonna go into Adorian tier. I would say like I would say like top of B. I wouldn't say it's broken because like you don't have those bulky Pokemon that you can reliably take a hit, but I think that's where it would probably fall. High B, low A.
Top of B.
We'll sort out orders later for where they go and where.
No, but like you have it in the wrong place. Put it in the Adorian.
You're right. Yeah. Sorry.
Anyways,
I like in the Adorian tier.
Understandable. You're going below Adorian.
That's great.
Let's go.
I think Ice has. Oh wait, no, we gotta rate Meta. I forgot about Meta. Metas.
Way, guys.
I would say high B as well.
Yeah, I agree. But he specifically requested to be in the Adorian tier.
That's not how it works.
True. I'm sorry.
I think honestly though, I think my team's probably like a high B, maybe a low A.
Yeah. Um.
But it's definitely better than Adorian's. That's all.
If we have to make a separate tier list that's just called commitment to Dupiter, and you'd be S.
Exactly.
I think for style points, I'm an S tier.
Yes. Definitely. Honestly, aura tiering, you just go in S because you just dropped Dupiter immediately. And just
Really?
yep, picking that right now.
No, that's how you know somebody's just raw and built different.
Raw and built different. If you're going to isolate me in my own tier, can you at least put a cute emoji or like something like a penguin?
No, we can put a skull face though.
A disgusted face.
Yeah. Anyways,
don't worry, I got you. There you
go. All right. So next up, we got ice. Right? Now we got ice.
Is that ice? That's next.
I think ice is somewhere around B/C tier. Like, he has the tools, but it's not clearly visible. I would say like low B for now.
Yeah, I'm gonna say low B because like his team is not bad. No, actually, none of these teams are bad to preface, but like there's some weird things that definitely could be changed to make this team definitely a much more solid B.
Like, I can't justify Ice's team being in C tier because you still have those threats that could just like one tap.
That top 3 is enough to keep it in B. Like,
yeah, exactly. And like, okay, if you play well, like obviously like these teams we're just gonna look at it on paper and rating it, and that's not how your team is. Just how we're like rating it, looking at it on paper. But you can definitely prove us wrong when you played it. So I think that's fine.
Right.
All right, who do we have next?
Next is Pup. Is this Pup's logo?
Yep.
Okay.
That's Pup's. I think this is another S tier team.
Yeah,
I would
it's
say
either
like
high A or mid S. I know that's.
I'm saying like it's better than Krebs' team, to be honest, just because
it's better than Krebs.
Yeah, I would say.
I'll be honest.
What?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if Puff's team's better than Krebs. Actually, I think it can be. Yeah.
There's arguments for both, honestly, because both of them have, of course, their weaknesses and things that they're good at.
Like think about it. You have your speed tiers obviously figured out with Sneasel and stuff, but you also have that support and Tinkating, Marini, even like Servine and Duosion. But not only that, you're still hitting hard with things like Terramon, Forno, Sneasel, Duosion. Like, you have all your bases covered. It's more well-rounded than Krebs, I believe. Like, Krebs' team is like more of a powerhouse type situation where you can cover your weaknesses, but then you're just gonna try and hit hard. Whereas Pup's team, like, you might not see those instant powerhouses, but it's a well-rounded team that could take it, like, you know, what is it? I'm losing my words, obviously, but you can use your team to play around because you have that diversity.
I also totally forgot like about the fairy combo we had with Krebs' team, so I think Pup, probably beats that.
Really? Okay, next up is, I think this is Cat's team.
Yep.
With the crocodile.
Sorry, what was that?
I think this is like a low B or C. I think it's probably the lowest B or like a high C.
I'm
gonna
respectfully.
I think. Yeah, go ahead.
I was about to say I love Cat and I respect Cat a lot. I'm gonna say this has to go in C because there's this team is weird to me. This team is just weird, but like not saying it's bad. I can definitely see Cat cooking and whooping me in a match with this team. But
yeah, in terms of this PR, I think this team is a C tier team, like could do better, and that is purely speaking in terms of a draft league perspective. Like, if you were to just like take all the faces off and all the team logos off and just purely compare the teams, this team I would say, hey, you could probably do better in terms of the drafting, but at the end of the day, I'm stupid. So I think C is fine.
Right. Next up is Shplim.
I think this is probably like top of A, I'd say.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's like Yoshi. It's probably a little bit better than your team.
I'll accept that. Yeah.
So like that's kind of like.
Even with the Cranidos.
I mean, like Cranidos, sure, it's a pick, but that Monstera, I obviously hated on it. But like, even like neglecting the Cranidos, you have a lot of options in the top half of your draft.
True.
And you have Wish Pass too, which is like pretty good Wish Passer in Giraffaric. You can be bulky and set up and sweep too. So I think it's more of an option in the top half where you have Gligar, Croconaw, and Giraffaric that make up for a really threatening core, which is what puts it a little bit higher than your team.
That's fair. That is absolutely fair. Meta, do you agree?
Yeah, I mean, yeah. I don't think it's S. I think
I agree.
Crep. I mean, if we're comparing like the lowest S at the moment, I think Crep seems just a bit better. I like Crep's Terras a lot more. Not saying like Terra Pupitar or Terra Merca are bad, but like they're like, look at Terra Cedra, look at Terra Bailey, man. Like,
yeah.
Also, don't look too hard at the tiering sheet. We're fine. We're fine with everything right now. Yeah, we're.
Okay. Put Shplim right beside you. Okay.
And then of course we have, last but certainly not least,
I don't think
that's right.
Jay's team is. I don't know how to rank it. It's like a B tier, or I can't tell if it's a B or an A.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, I'm gonna say B for this team, mostly because it just has too many grass types.
I was kind of leaning like high C, low B, just because of the
C with this team. I'll be honest.
Yeah, I know. With just pure on paper, like it can't be on C, but like after looking at it, that's why I was thinking like high C when you have like 3 grass types and none of them resist ground. But I think like low B is fine, especially because you have things like a Bite and Fletchinder, even like Dusclops. So
I think Jace is probably like, if we're going within the tiers now, I think Jace is better than Ices and Sleepies, even though the low tiers are big. But of course,
I'm gonna have to think about that one.
What is happening to your mic, Matt?
Oh, me?
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm just tired. My fault again.
No, it's okay. It just sounds like something's farting into your mic.
That's great.
I can see your point with Jay's team, like in terms of moving it up.
I think like with Jay's team. Oh, sorry to interrupt. Go.
No, you're good. Go ahead.
I think like I look at Dustbox, I look at Miss Hangs, the Buggy, Float, Prim Club, and maybe Ivysaur. All of those look pretty solid. The rest, I mean, the Fungus mainly is like it. And I look at Ice's team, and I'm like, the first three are solid buildings, and maybe change. It's like 6 versus 3.
Yeah, I think Adorian, like, funny enough, this take is actually pretty easy. Surprising that I'm saying that. What Adorian said is like Jay has a very strong standalone mons, which is why I'm inclined to put it in B. I can kind of see how it could like be better than Ice's team, but like I don't think it's better than Sleepy's team. Personally,
I can get behind being better than Ice's than Sleepy's.
I only say this because Sleepy has that core between Diplin, Munchlax, and Torracat, while having like Lampent, Shalgon, and Staravia as like hitters. Obviously the others can be, but like you have some cohesion, even though like it's preliminary cohesion, it's still there.
I feel like Sleepy's team is off. Paper doesn't look as threatening as Jay's team, but Sleepy's team has more cohesion.
Yeah, that's exactly what I meant. Yep.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
So how are we feeling? I'm gonna move Adorian out of Adorian tier. I know it's a cardinal sin, but we have to.
No, we don't.
Listen, we gotta order these 5 somehow. Of course, the closer it gets to the left, the higher it is. So, out of these 5, who would you say is the best B tier?
Okay, I think like realistically, it's Adorian because like sure it's hyper offensive, but it is good at what it does. Second, I think it's fine. Like the way we have it right now, I would just move Jay over Ice. And then I think that the order is fine. That's like how I would order it personally.
I got you.
I can get behind that. Even though, putting Adorian above me is like kind of a low. Just off like if we're talking about not the drafts and just like people, if we're ranking people here.
Oh my god, dude.
If
I would
ranking people here is crazy.
Dude, and that's why we have the Adorian tier. I don't know why Yoshi told me to rank it. Put it back into it. That's where we're gonna end it. Listen, no, put it back. Look, okay. I'm the commissioner.
Okay.
Yeah, there we go. All right. So hope you guys have enjoyed this whole PR, aka ranking, us yapping for almost 3 hours.
God.
I think this is going to be a pretty interesting season. I'm excited to look at all the matches. Personally, I will be doing watch togethers and stuff like that at the end of the week once the battles are in, and we'll see where the teams lie at the end of the season. So let's see how accurate our predictions are at the end. And all right, guys, so that was the PRs for the offline draft league. Hopefully guys are excited about the start of the season. So we'll be doing some watch togethers on stream, and don't forget to hit the subscribe button so you can follow the journey. And yeah, I'll catch you guys in the next one. Comment down who do you think is going to be the winner for this draft league, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace out, offline squad.